Hi, this is Eric Simpson, producer for Grief Heals. In the following episode, host Lisa Michelle Zega welcomes listeners to reflect on their shared humanity. She discusses the connection between how we treat our bodies, as well as the context of the land that we inhabit, and introduces grief as a tool for acknowledging losses and bringing light into darkness. The exhaustion of centuries is prompting a shift towards slowing down, receiving love, and healing together. Lisa's message is to dream of a world where we live from a place of oneness and love, holding each other in compassion. Look, if you enjoy the show, we'd really appreciate it if you would write a review for it, like it, share it with a friend, and do all those types of things that you do with podcasts that you like. It would really help us, and we would appreciate it. If you have any feedback that you'd like to give, or you want to learn more about the work that Lisa does, you can navigate to Lisa's website, which is legityu, LEGITYOU.com, or send her an email at lisamichelle@legitu.com. Thanks for listening, and here's Lisa.
Welcome to another episode of Grief Heals, the podcast where we explore how it is that grief heals us with our relationship with ourselves, with one another, and our whole wide world. I am your host, Lisa Michelle Zega, and I am excited to have another conversation. Welcome, beautiful, beautiful people. Let's just take a minute and breathe together, right? Notice that you're breathing. Notice even that you are being breathed, that we are being breathed, like that even without effort, breath is breathing us. And so on purpose, let's just inhale, maybe noticing the filling of your belly. Exhale, maybe noticing the belly flatten. It is good to be here taking breaths with you. I have this sense that we are waking up together, that we are coming together around our shared humanity, that we're recognizing that we are more alike than different, that we are longing for love, to be nourished by love, to be seen, to be heard, to belong, like just to be as we are and get to belong, right? To return to the essence of our beingness, of our oneness, of our connectedness. So yesterday, I had the privilege and honor of talking to a friend. His name is Amar Atma, and I will put a link to his work in the show notes, but he is a grief worker and just such a beautiful person. And we were meeting for a very short time online, and we just kind of jumped right in. And where we found ourselves was talking about the land and talking about how much the land has held of our human suffering and the bigness of the land and the ability to hold suffering, but at the same time, that there's an opportunity, there's an invitation for us to come collectively together and recognize all that we have done to the land, against the land, the way we have just in this industrialized culture of productivity and efficiency and economy and always about the bottom line, and the way we've just taken and extracted and taken and extracted and not given and nurtured and grown. And so this idea that the land is weeping for itself and for us and with us, and that we are being invited to weep with the land and for the land. And together we can heal. One of the things I shared with Amar Atma is that for a long time, I've had this desire. There is a workshop that lives in me about reconciling ourselves to our own bodies, to the vessels that carry us, that like every good gift that I enjoy has come to me through this vessel of my body. And yet, like you, in many ways, I've been socialized against my body. And I have turned on my body, like my thighs are not long enough, shapely enough. My tummy is too round and too squishy. My face is too square, and my lips too thin, and you know, and always expecting my body to give more and more and more, and just extracting from this beautiful vessel, while at the same time pointing to it and condemning it and telling it how it's not enough and doing all these things to fix it, right? And I was thinking as we were talking about the connection between how we are in our bodies that we inhabit and how we are with the land that we inhabit. And I was thinking about the connection of all things, right? Like that there is an interrelatedness, a woven togetherness of literally all things. And I'm reading a book. I've mentioned it, I think, on the last 2 episodes, and maybe I'll be, referencing it the whole time I'm reading it. It is called A People's History of the United States. It is written by Howard Zinn, Z like zebra, I like igloo, N like Netherlands, Zinn. Isn't it funny? Like I went from zebra to igloo to Netherlands, and I'm like, oh, thinking that I didn't stay with the same. Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. Just noticing, not a problem. So I'm reading this book, and it's really pointing out how we were pulled apart from one another. And what was used to pull us apart was like giving little glimpses or elevations of power, but alleviating some of our suffering through said power or privilege. And so what do I mean by that? Like even thinking about slaves, and then some of the slaves being elevated above other slaves so that they began to oppress their own people. Oh, that's making me think about the Bible times, right? When the Romans would promote like a Jewish person as a tax collector, and then the division with their own people. And then the most recent chapter I read was on the Indians, right? The indigenous people of the land, and how different tribes would be pitted against one another. Some tribes would be given land so that they would fight for the American government in taking land from people, right? And then they would be given promises, like the people, I'm thinking of, was it the Cherokee? I'm confusing my tribes who were pitted against each other, the Choctaw and the Cherokee. But anyway, one of them was offered land to help conquer the other. And then the land they were given was then revoked. But it just recognizing the way that the extraction from each other and the fragmentation and the pushing away. And one of the things that's becoming obvious, I'm coming back to my body analogy, is that not only have we turned on our bodies, on these vessels, we've also been very much disconnected from them. And so this morning on my walk, I was thinking, I was really sensing more feeling into. So now what you're hearing is me seeking to give language to this. But we're recognizing the need to come back and inhabit our bodies, to notice, like, oh, what are the sensations in my body? How is my body connected to my environment? What does it feel like to chew food in my mouth? What's it like to notice the saliva secreting at my gums? What is it like to notice the buzzing, the tingling in my shoulders and in my upper region, right? Like, what is it like to notice the impulses of my body when I am hungry, when I need to go to the bathroom? What is it like to slow down and honor my own precious vessel? And what is it like to slow down and honor the land that has been holding so much, that has been witnessing so much, and that itself has been torn apart? Like, I was thinking about in the name of expansion and of progress, how our forests have been decimated, how trees have just been cut down without regard to what it's doing to the environment, and taking and taking and taking, and never giving the land time to rest, whether it was for our food extraction, or the extraction for oil, or anything that we have been taking from the land and taking from our bodies and taking from each other. And one of the things about talking to Amar Atma yesterday was he was saying, grief is not here, as so many of us think, to take from us. Rather, grief is not here to be feared. Grief is not here like it's not the scary monster in the closet or under the bed. Grief is not here to come and get us like the boogeyman. Grief is here to acknowledge the losses that we've experienced, the losses in our own precious bodies, the losses in the land, the losses in our histories. Grief is literally coming not to put us in darkness, but to bring light in our darkness. He called it a raven, bringing us to the light, a grief being a raven that would come and get us in our darkness and fly us to the places of light. That's how I came to know grief as love, was surrendering to its ministry in my own life. Grief had come for me, as many of you know, multiple times throughout my life. And like many others, I had been taught to ignore my grief, to push past my grief, to just keep going, to not slow down, and to be present. The great mantra was, how do I get over this? How do I get past this? And the great awakening that I feel like is happening for each and every one of us is a coming together, a slowing down, a saying, oh, this way that I've been taught to approach myself, my body, the land, my brethren, is not the way of my essence. It's not the way of the light within me. The way of the light within me is love. And I think we are being awakened to our oneness, awakened to our togetherness, awakened to the ways that we have been oppressed and we have oppressed others, the ways that we have only tried to take rather than give. And it's like we've been, may I say, indoctrinated in this way of being that we are recognizing is not sustainable. And I think it's our sheer exhaustion, centuries of exhaustion catching up with us, that is saying, slow down, be present, receive love, let your losses be nurtured, come together. We are a family. We are a family not divided by geographical locations. We are earth beings. And the entire planet is working with us, and we are called to work with the planet, with our bodies, with each other, for the healing of ourselves, each other, and the whole wide world. So these are the thoughts that are being spurred forward as I read Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States, as I talk to beautiful people like Amar Atma, as I talk to beautiful people like you, like us. So I think that's all I've got for today. If we could just take a breath, breathing in, maybe imagining breathing in our connectedness, and breathing out, releasing the illusion of disconnection. Breathing in love, and breathing out the illusion of hate, spurred on by just a desire to survive. You know, maybe we could dream together about the world we wish to create that's not a response, rather than a response to our histories. What if we slow down to the essence of who we are and dream about what it would be to live from that space as one people? Just a thought, family, just a thought. I am reaching my arms out big and wide, bringing you in as I wrap my arms around my own body, recognizing that we are holding and we are held. And can we allow our suffering to be held in love, witnessed in love, heard in love? May we be together in love. We'll talk again soon. Mwah. Bye.
You've been listening to Grief Heals with Lisa Michelle Zega. The podcast is produced by me, Eric Simpson, in association with Jump Up and Down Productions. Music by Kendalian, Drunken Nights to Sunday Mornings, and Stefan Carlin, A Calming Ocean, A Common Notion. If you would like more information about the work Lisa does, point your browsers to legityou.com. That's LEGITYOU. Lisa can also be reached at Lisa Michelle at legitu.com. This has been a Jump Up and Down production.